During the Middle Ages in Europe, the knowledge and progress that had been made in the healing arts had. Most of the ideas that had been made during the Roman Empire were lost or forgotten. Care for the sick was. People only have access to a small number of trained doctors in hospitals. Instead, the care that traveling doctors could give was restricted. Often, they don't know much about the human body or how it works. During the Islamic Golden Age, on the other hand, medical science grew and improved. Scholars and doctors made big steps forward in areas like anatomy, surgery, and drugs, and morals in medicine. These changes were based on what the Greeks, Romans, and Indian medical information, which was translated by Islamic experts and made even better. The first part of the movie shows how hard life was in England in the 1100s, where we meet the strong main character, Rob Cole. Since he was the oldest in his family, Rob has the duty of being the only one who brings in money. He has a job he worked in dangerous mines to support his mother and two younger brothers. One day, Barber, a doctor on the road, shows up in Rob's town. Using his Barber says he has the power to heal with his mysterious charm and mysterious personality a lot of different diseases. That night, Rob's mother is in terrible pain because, to a strange illness, he feels something scary when he puts his hand on her chest. Backs out quickly. He goes to get he thinks his mother is going to die soon. The only doctor in town is the barber. The second one agrees to help, but when they get to their house, there are already a lot of people there. Since medicine is thought to be witchcraft, people told Barber he couldn't help the woman. This doesn't work out, though. A bad choice, because the woman slowly dies of her illness, which makes her children very sad. The two younger children are taken away the next morning. The people of the town and their common items. Now that Rob is by himself, no one to take care of him. So he goes to the only person who has ever been nice to him. Barber, the traveling doctor. Even though he was at first hesitant, Barber feels sorry for. Eventually, he gets to know the boy and chooses to take him on as his student. Rob and Barber travel to different places over the years to help sick and hurt people. Together. Along the way, Rob goes from being a scared kid to a young man who is strong and sure of himself. Despite his new skills and information, he is still interested in how the human body works, and wants to find out how it works. He also wants to know everything he can about appendicitis, the sickness that killed his mother. Rob told Barber one day that he wanted to see what a person is made of under the skin. But since operations and surgeries are done to fix things, Barber tells him that talking about such things is against the law and that he should never do it again. Months later, Barber's cataracts start to make his vision worse, to stop him from doing his job as a doctor. One day, a farmer comes to their house wagon to get a tooth pulled. As Rob holds the patient still to help with the surgery, he has a common feeling that death is coming. This is the same thing he felt last night. He lost his mother. And sure enough, the patient also dies on the table, which proves his guess. After a while, Rob, who is still upset, tells Barber what happened. He says he can do it. Sense if a person is going to die. But Barber says that his worries are just myth. Rob's friends are not ready to think that he has any special gifts or intuition. That evening, angry people from the town gather around their wagon and accuse them of witchcraft. Them for the death of the farmer. The two were then beaten up and kicked out of their city. Even though Barber has trouble seeing, he keeps teaching Rob the basics of medical care. Gives him charge of taking care of their cases. As his situation gets worse, he has to depend more and more on others. And more about Rob's knowledge and skills. A patient once asked Rob to take his boss to a Jewish doctor, because it is known that they can help blind people see again. Rob is not sure, since blindness is thought to be almost impossible to fix now. But despite that, he tries it out because he wants to help his master so much. The next morning, Rob and Barber go to the home of the Jewish doctor and start the treatment. The process takes days and nights, but in the end, Barber gets his vision back by some miracle. Rob can't believe how far medicine has come, so he asks the doctor where he went to school. Where I learned all of this. In answer, the second man says that he learned from the best. Ibn Sina of Isfahan was the best doctor of all time. Rob is shocked and says he wants to go there. But the doctor tells him that he won't even make it there before he dies. He went on, says that in the land of Muslims, Jews are accepted but Christians are not. This is a big setback for Rob's goals, but he's still motivated to reach his goal. Isfahan and study under Sina's guidance. He wants to become a Hakim, the best healer of them all. Barber tries hard to convince Rob not to do it, but it looks like the boy has already decided. He is sick and tired of how bad the medical staff is. Treatment that they have been giving until now. So, in order for him to learn more, Rob says goodbye to his boss and starts out on a new journey. Rob gets to Egypt after many months on the road, but before going to Isfahan, so that he doesn't get hurt, he chooses to dress up as a Jew. He undergoes surgery, and takes the name, Jesse ben Benjamin, to fit in with Jewish people. Rob meets a woman named Rebecca when he travels with a group of Muslim people. As they move together, they come across a town that the Seljuks have just attacked. A group of nomadic tribes that think Allah picked them to punish people who do wrong. Only a little girl made it out of the attack alive, so Rebecca chooses to take her with her. Rob, using his knowledge of medicine, he helps take care of the girl, which amazes everyone else. In the next scene, the group is stuck in the desert during a terrible sandstorm. Many people die right away, and the rest get lost in the chaos. Last but not least, Rob and one other guy are the only ones left, but if the other person catches it, Rob prays to Jesus at night, he strikes and kills him, leaving Rob to go on his own. After a few more painful days of walking, he finally gets to Isfahan. Rob runs to he wants to go to medical school so he can finally meet the famous Ibn Sina. But he said, due to his bad luck, he is not only turned away, but the guards also beat him and leave him on the street. Later, a guy finds him and puts him in a room and makes plans for him to be killed. Ibn Sina will treat you like a person. Rob can't believe he's finally met the best person in the world. Doctor in the whole world. And, to top it all off, he gets into medical school. He was so happy that he screamed. Rob learns about different diseases as the days go by, which, in his home country of England, were thought to be irreversible. But here, they are just simple illnesses that can be fixed with easy solutions. Rob finds out that Rebecca is still living one day, so he goes to see her. However, when she tells him she's going to marry a rich businessman, his face changes quickly. After taking care of a sick woman that day, Rob has a meaningful talk with Ibn Sina that night. He talks about his youth and how his mother died of appendicitis, and that no one could help her. He also says that he is able to tell if a person is going to die. Rob wants to learn as much as possible about medicine, but he is sad that even this high-tech hospital doesn't have the tools to help him. To cure appendicitis, Ibn Sina says in answer that surgeries are evil. Also happens in this part of the world. But maybe things will change in the next 1,000 years. The next day, when the emperor calls Ibn Sina to the palace, he brings Rob with him. Shah. It turns out that the lord of the Seljuks sent his son to suggest a peace deal. But the Shah cut off his head and sent it back as a way to say no. To get back at them, the Seljuks sent to Isfahan a man who had the Black Death disease. He goes for walks in the city, making sure his sickness can spread as far as possible. When he's finally found out, chaos spreads like flames through the city. Ibn Sina and Rob talk to the Shah, and they tell him that he needs to send the city to protect its people from a dangerous plague that is quickly spreading. However, the Shah doesn't listen to their advice and does nothing. He instead asks Ibn Sina to go with him on his trip through the forest to hunt. The latter quickly says no. He decides to stay with his kids and face the spread with them. In no time, people who are affected start coming in large numbers, and the hospital becomes full of sick people. As things get worse, the guards shut the city's gates and only let nobles in. One of them is Rebecca's husband, and he leaves her to die alone. Rob, however, finds just in time and takes her to the hospital. He looks after her 24 hours a day, as well as the things she writes. Ibn Sina, on the other hand, is driven to find a fix, and looks at what's going on. He comes to the conclusion that the fleas on mice are the ones who spread diseases from dead bodies to live people. So, he tells them to stop working right away. Every mouse. Slowly, the people start to get better, and the city goes back to normal state. Rebecca gets healthier, too, and one day she has a baby with Rob. In the next scene, all the rich people come back to the city. Even Rebecca's husband was there. So, she has no choice but to go back with him, despite the fact that she now loved Rob. In the meantime, the Shah plans a party to honor Ibn Sina and his students for the brave work they did during the plague. Ibn Sinu gives Rob the job of taking care of the new patients when the hospital opens again. One of whom is in a lot of pain from appendicitis. The person who wants Rob to leave is a Zoroastrian. After he died, they gave his body to the vultures because they think that this cleans their minds. Rob tries to reassure him that everything will be fine, but despite his best efforts, the man ends up leaving. Passes away. Rob is upset at first, but he soon remembers that Zoroastrians don't care if their bodies are cut up into parts. So, he takes the body to a place where no one can see it and does a post-mortem on it. He studies the human body very carefully and finds the vermiform appendix. Rob even writes down what he finds and keeps those papers safe. During the next few days, the city's ruling mullahs will start against the Shah's rule. The reason is that they don't want people from other places to live there. It was a Muslim country. In this case, they worked together with the Seljuks to do goal of getting rid of the Shah and the Jews. The mullah's main goal is to take over. The Seljuks used Isfahan as a stepping stone to take control of all of Persia. While this is going on, Rebecca finds out she is pregnant with Rob's baby and goes out to go to the city to look for him. She is shocked when she sees the mullahs take him away, who have said that he is a necromancer because he studies the human body. To make problems worse, when her husband finds out she was cheating on him, he sends her to be stoned to death. The next day, Rob is taken to court and accused of being a sorcerer by the mullahs. Ibn Sina as one of his partners. They also use the body that has been cut up as proof against them. So, the court gives both of them the death penalty. The average person is angry that they are angry at the Jewish man because he has come to their city and done something bad. Rob is very upset by this, so he tells the truth to save himself and the Jewish community. He is a Christian, though. No one believes him, so his punishment does not get changed. Rob begs his boss to forgive him from the prison cell. Ibn Sina tells him that he thinks of him as his best student who has done a lot for the field of medical knowledge, but now their lives will be lost because of how careless he was. Rob tells Ibn Sina what he knows in his last hours in jail, describing the parts inside his body and how he has lived with them. Just when it seems like there is no way out, the Shah tells them to be set free. It turns out, he or she is also sick with appendicitis and is slowly dying. He is aware of Ibn Sina. He thinks that he and one of his students have the fix, so he wants to try it, even if it means taking his body apart. Rob, right away, she says she'll help him, but only if Rebecca is set free. The Shah had no other option, so he tells his troops to fight the mullahs and bring her back, which they do just in time. Once everything is ready, Rob starts the surgery on Shah with the help of Ibn Sina and a few others in school. It's a scary moment for him because nothing like this has ever been done before out in any place on earth. But by using what he had learned from the first study, he was able to successfully removes the appendix that is sick. Now that the Shah is safe, he offers to pay back the favor. To help Rob make sure his people are safe, he tells his men to lead the Jews away, community out of the city and give them everything they need to make the trip. Isfahan and the Seljuks are at war on the outside, and the mullahs are striking the city, putting the hospital on fire. Rob and others get people to meet at the east gate so they can leave the city. But Ibn Sina can't be found anywhere. Rob goes back to the hospital out of worry and finds him there, looking into the void. The best doctor of all time hands Rob with tears in his eyes. Hakim Robert Cole, in the hospital records book. Then, he goes. Rob stays in the room to die, even though he doesn't want to. In the next step, he and the others are able to leave the city by going through the gate. Rob's dream has finally come true. He's become a well-known doctor and runs a hospital in the busy city of London, where people can get help for all kinds of health problems. He is living out his dream. His wife, Rebecca, was always by his side. The old barber finds out about his apprentice's success from a little boy who just got out of the hospital. The show ends. Barber brags that he taught Rob how to be great as they talk all the way there.